Delivering bad news is one of the hardest things that we do, whether it's with a customer, a teammate, or even our boss. We try and put it off, we try and soften it too much, and we overthink every single word.
But the most powerful leaders know that hard news builds trust and doesn't break it. So today, we're going to give you 5 simple steps that you can use immediately to lead through the tough stuff with courage, clarity, and heart.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Secrets in Medical Device Sales brought to you by the Girls of Grit. Today, we are bringing you guys another action-packed episode. I am so excited that we are talking about this, Cindy, because I have faced this so many times, and I wish somebody had sent me an episode like this to tell me that it's all going to be okay.
You're so right, because I've been in a situation, I think this topic will be in everybody listening's lives, no matter what job they're in.
Yes.
If it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen tomorrow. If you're brand new and you just got hired out of college, this will happen. And we're excited because I think that a little bit of extra heads up makes anything easier.
Yes.
Thanks for listening today. Very excited.
Yeah.
What is it we're talking about? Okay, so the most exciting thing today, we are talking about what it is like to deliver hard news. And we are really talking about this for one particular situation.
Yeah.
And that's really about how to leave a territory, tell your boss, not burn any bridges, make it all smooth. But it's so crazy how you're in this dichotomy. You're so excited for your new job that you're going to take. And there's this weight and this pull of leaving your old job.
Oh my gosh. I'm embarrassed to say I've done this a number of times, Cindy. I don't know how many companies I've worked for over the years. I've gotten better about keeping tenure, but I think for me, it's not as hard to tell my company, but it is extremely hard for me to tell my customers. And I really think it's because we feel that loyalty. We feel that trusted energy. We feel that relationship. I mean, we've worked on it with our customers for so long, and some of our customers actually become our friends. And it's like, for you to have to break that news to them, to let them know that you're no longer going to be working with them in that particular sector or whatever it is. And especially if you're moving on to a totally new field where you're not going to call on them anymore, it's a really hard thing to deliver this news. I know I got fearful, I got nervous, and I felt guilty. And when it should be an exciting time, like you said, this should be an exciting time when you're moving on, you're moving up, you're creating something new for yourself, but yet you feel this pull. And so I'm so glad that we're talking about this today, because I truly, really wish that I had had this a number of years ago when I left a couple of companies. So anyhow, I'm really glad we're talking about it.
Well, I just want to kind of reiterate what you said. Listening to you talk about how you feel, you realize that's all because you care. And it's especially hard for women. When you care, you're invested. And, let's face it, if you're a good human, you're trying to do right by people. And so here you are, all your work intertwined, you have these strong relationships. But I think something Lisa and I want to get across to you is we want you to understand, when you deliver this hard news, which may only be harder for you, you make it harder than you think. I need you to understand it's not a betrayal of how you care for them and the relationship you have. It's women don't like to disappoint. I mean, that's a fact. That is a trait of being female. And I'm not saying because it's a stereotypical comment I'm making. Overall, women don't want to disappoint.
Yeah.
And so while this is hard news, this could be forward news. And we want you to think about, when you go to deliver this news, that it's not a betrayal. It's not disappointing. It's not something to feel guilty or upset about or letting anybody down. Think that that's why we want to talk about this.
Yeah. We were talking about this because a couple weeks ago, I got a phone call from someone that I know who is actually not necessarily leaving his company, but he's changing positions and he's going to a totally different position. So he's not going to be calling on the same physicians anymore. And this is a great move for him. It's a promotion for him, all the positives, right? But yet he struggled with when to tell his customers. And he actually called me and he's like, when do you think I should call my customers? I'm actually walking into the OR in the next 30, 45 minutes. And I want to tell my customer, but my manager is actually telling me not to tell my customer yet because he's one of our largest customers in the country. Oh. And he doesn't want him to freak out because I've been his rep for so long. He wants to have somebody in the place to take over my spot. we got to do this right, blah, blah, blah. He's like, but Lisa, I feel really guilty because I have this trusted relationship with this doctor. We're friends. We golf together. We do all this stuff together. And yet I've been hiding this. I've been keeping this secret from him. And he's like, and I'm starting to feel really guilty about it. And I want to deliver the news. Do you think I should tell my customer? So we talked about this, and it's like, again, you don't actually need to be leaving the company. You could just be moving into a different position, but you're leaving your customers. And maybe not all together. Maybe you'll still see them from time to time, but you always want to do it in the right way. And you're right, Cindy. We as females don't want to disappoint. We want to always have somebody saying, go, atta girl, pat on the back, moving ahead. But the truth is we feel like we are going to disappoint them. So I'm really glad we're talking about this today.
Absolutely. And so what we want you to take home from this is we're going to give you some quick advice on how to protect your relationship, because this is a small world. You might circle back around and be in a job and calling this customer again. How do you preserve your reputation during this transition? And then you kind of pass this baton, with class and strategy so that you can be the high performer you were in this position, transferred into the next. We want to eliminate this fear, this pressure, this guilt. It's not about that. And this is important. We never want you to stay in a job because you're too afraid to move to the next one. It wasn't that long ago I talked to somebody who accepted a job, let's just say like, all right, August 1st, I'm going to start August 1st. Well, they called and said, I need to push this back to September 1st. I'm just making up a date. And it was asked why. I can't tell my customers yet. And that was a moment where you have to stop to think.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing for the right reason? Are you overthinking your customer's reaction? Are you overvaluing that friendship? And so there comes a time in everybody's career that you need to think for yourself. And should some relationships sever, because let's face it, you do fade in the woodwork. But think about it. Those that are your good friends, to be real friends, will be your friends for a lifetime. There was a friend, so it's 2025. So she left, it was 2011 in a previous job. I actually got a call from her this morning. We talk every other month, once a month. So don't ever fear that you're going to actually lose friends, because they'll be there if they need to be. Yeah. So I think what I'd like to do is first reveal our secret into how we make a hard conversation good.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, why don't you tell us what the secret is?
What the secret is? Ooh, the light just went out. The secret, and that's funny because that's actually tying right into our secret. That is so random. By the way, you guys, like, here I am on a Sunday evening traveling, and Cindy and I are recording, and I'm in a hotel room, and the light just went out. So random. So anyhow, if you're watching me on YouTube, I just went dark. That was weird. Okay, so back to our secret. Our secret is transparency. Being transparent with your customers, but also with yourself. And what do I mean by that? Well, transparency with your customers is just that, right? Being honest, being open, telling them why you're taking the position, telling them how you feel about them. I'm going to miss you. I value our relationship. I don't want to lose your relationship. Can I still keep your number? I mean, I'll tell you, Cindy, I've done that a number of times with my customers where I'm like, I hope I can still call you if I need you. And most people are like, absolutely, Lisa. And some of my best customers I still keep in touch with. I mean, a lot of them have actually retired because I've been doing this so long, but it's like, I still talk to them. So I think transparency with your customers is super, super key. And that goes for your company as well. You do need to be transparent with your company. Don't lie, don't hide things, because then that just makes you look like a liar, right? But then I also think you need to be transparent with yourself and really be open and honest. You are going to probably miss some of your colleagues if you're leaving and you're going to a new company. You are going to miss your customers if they're no longer your call point and you're going to be moving on and doing new things, or the hospitals are going to change. So be open and honest with yourself and kind of be ready for those feelings, because they're going to come. But I think if you recognize them and you're really aware of them and you're mindful, then that will help you go a long way to delivering this really hard news.
Oh, I think that's great. And, then again, we're the girls of grit, right? And we're here to give you all these tips to make it easy. So what we're going to do in this episode is just give you 5 simple steps of how to deliver the hard news, and of course, with integrity. Yeah. So the very first step, using your transparency, is number 1. This is simple: prepare. We don't want you to panic. We don't want you to run in and just blah, 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 and think, oh, shoot, I should have thought about that first. Maybe I need to sit in my car and be clear, know your facts, know exactly your story, what you're doing and why, because you're going to tell them clearly and simply. And I know this sounds silly, stuff we say all the time, practice. You can sit in your car, practice in the rearview mirror, practice at home, but just if you think you are uncomfortable, think about what you're going to say it a few times till you are comfortable to speak. I think that's, don't script it out, but just know I want to tell them this, I want to tell them this, and I want to tell them that, because you don't need to be perfect, but you need to be present and you need to be in the moment, right? So that's number one. We want you to prepare and not panic.
Number two, I mean, it's our secret, which is transparency, but leading with transparency, right? Being that open and honest person with your customers, with yourself, with your company. You don't really need to sugarcoat things. You just need to be open and honest. People typically can handle more than what we think. So we assume that when we come in with this news, our customers are going to be like, what? Now they're going to lose their mind and be like, oh my gosh. And they might. I mean, they might. But they might not. They might actually be like, Lisa, or Cindy, I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited for you. This is a perfect fit for you. I knew you weren't going to be my rep for forever. Like the things that really true good people feel. You got to be open and honest. You have to be transparent. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't hide it. Be honest and tell them why it's happening and why you're taking the new position. And you can tell them it's not easy. This is not an easy decision for me to make. I did not come to this easy. I tossed and turned. I wrote my pros and cons, whatever you want to say, but let them know you're human. It didn't come easy. This is weighing on you. You do feel bad about leaving them. You want them to know that they're going to be left in good hands. And that's another tip. But I think being open and honest and transparent with your customers is so important. It's so important. And, I think I
think you're right.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just going to say one more thing. I think it's really important to be clear. Like I was saying before, don't hide it. Don't be vague. Tell them how it is. Be open and honest. People want honesty. That's why they work with you in the first place.
So just to extrapolate kind of what you said, to leave with like maybe 2 lead sentences, maybe one you say, I want to share something with you that's not easy for me. Because sometimes if you say,
I like that, Cindy,
you're realizing this isn't easy for me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We talked about transparent. Maybe one way you can frame is, hey, I just need to be upfront with you. And then XYZ. Those are 2 simple examples to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move right into step number 3. This one I think is important to show humanity and not guilt. I want to repeat, no guilt. I even thinking about this and thinking back to when I left companies I really cared about, I felt guilty.
Yeah.
And I want you to know it's okay to feel that way. Like we all have emotions, they're all real, but you need to understand if you step back at a 30,000 foot view, there's no need to feel guilty. So let them know you care. Also, I don't want the guilt or emotion to overtake this whole conversation. So just know that it's going to be there, acknowledge the impact. Again, an example, you can say, I know this might be disappointing or frustrating. We were working on XYZ or whatever. And I think something I want everyone to hear me say is don't apologize.
Oh,
don't apologize.
That's a good one. These are great, Cindy. You're so right. Do you know how many times I've probably apologized for leaving and making a decision that I wanted to make, but I still was like, I'm so sorry. And it's like, but I'm not sorry. I really am excited about this. I'm just sorry that I have to tell you.
Exactly. So you have more empathy than you do guilt, but just don't apologize and don't soften the blow and shrink really low and pull your shoulders up to your ears and curl down like a little bunny rabbit and, oh, I have to tell you something. No, stand tall, shoulders back. Got to tell you something. Be firm, be real. They'll appreciate it. You hope to circle back in their lives. It happens all the time. So number 3 was show humanity and no guilt.
I love that one. I love that one. All right. Number 4, I suck at this, by the way. Number 4 is
so do I. So do I.
Golly, giving space for a response. So how often do we anticipate the customer's reaction? We're like, oh, but don't say anything. Don't say anything yet. Oh, but this is going to be great. And you're trying to sugarcoat and do all this stuff. The truth is you actually should give time for a response. And I like this one, Cindy. This was a really good one that we came up with because it's hard to do, but it shows patience. It shows maturity. It shows being an adult. And it allows the other person to actually let you know how they truly feel. And so you're giving them the respect. And they may be pissed. I mean, they may be really mad at you. They may be really excited for you. They may be like, how else can I help? Can I call my buddy down the road who's going to be your new call point? I'd love to help you out. I mean, you don't know, but you might as well give them room for their response because they're human too, and they're going to have a response. So you should let them speak because it validates them as well as you, you know? I mean, I think it's important because so often we just want to fix it, right? We're just like, I'm so sorry,
Yes.
this is terrible. I just want to fix it. But you can't fix it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you're leaving, you're moving on, you're taking a new position. This is not something that you can fix. And that's okay. That's okay. Because I think it's real life and you don't need to rescue the situation. You just need to allow them to hold some space. Give them space to speak and
Oh,
freely tell
so
you.
well said.
Yeah, but I suck at this, by the way. I will say that.
Well, okay, so that was so well said, Lisa, to let them hold some space and not rescue them. And I'm going to tell you, I am so bad at this. And we've mentioned this in an episode before, so I feel I have to say it again. When you know this is going to be a hard part, if you've done number one and planned, right? So after you deliver the message, how do you make yourself pause? Literally, I suggest what I've done before is I sit on my hand. If I'm sitting, or maybe do something physical to remind, put your hand behind your back for a second, put your hand in your pocket. Just know, put your hand on your leg. I mean, sit still for a minute. Just 10 seconds of a pause or silence. So whatever works for you, put your hand on your hip, put your hand on your leg, put your hand in your pocket, sit on it, signal to yourself, this is where I pause. So, oh, Lisa, I love that one. Now, our fifth one is, oh, it's so hard though. And our fifth one just kind of wraps up like giving you an idea of how to have this conversation. And I think it's really important that you end with a direction, okay? Not just like drop off. Okay, here's my news delivered. I'm done.
Yeah.
Dead end. That's it. Now you've been a valued partner with them. So now it's time to take it a step further and be able to just say, okay, here's what happens next. Let's figure this out together. But I think something so important is now you're their consultant. How do I support you? What can I help you do right now? We talk about how confidence drives in so many great interactions. This is the time. And I remind you, this is the time to really lead with confidence and direction.
Cindy, you're making me think of something, and I don't know if you were planning on talking about this or not, but do you know one thing that I will tend to do in this situation is I will overpromise. And what I mean by that is don't worry, I'm going to take care of you even after I'm with this new company. I will just still make sure that I can take care of you. And then that's totally not true because once you leave a company, you actually can't like legally call on them again and sell, like you can't keep selling the products legally, employed by them and you're working for another company, right? One thing that I do caution everybody on with this, making sure that you're setting everything up for, success with regards to not just being like delivering the news and leaving, but making sure that you've got a plan. Maybe you've talked to your manager about who's going to take your spot. You can give them that information, anything to kind of help the customer know that they're just not going to be left high and dry, but don't overpromise and say, well, don't worry, I can still take care of you. I'll be around. I'll swing by. You can't do that. And that is one thing that I have done in the past is overpromise and obviously underdeliver. So like, can't do that. And I think that's really important because that is my fallback. I tend to want to fix it and I want to overpromise to them, even when I know deep down inside, I can't help them at all.
And I am so glad you said that because that aligns with what we just said. Not feeling guilty, not overpromising. Practice just delivering it confident because you bring up a really good point. You have to legally be careful of what you're saying. So let's just take a minute now and kind of hone in on protecting your business. So before you leave, what should you say? Okay, instead of, I'm going to help you do this. First of all, what do you need from me is huge because you might be thinking, I need to give them 7 more things and they need 2.
Yeah.
So ask them first. Now, some things to think about might be maybe key contacts that for your company, maybe while I'm gone, here's my manager, here's, the supply chain person that talks with contracts or something, just thinking procedures. Also, one thing you can really do when you leave in a good way is set up a call with somebody who will be in your place. So don't promise yourself.
Yeah.
Hand them over to a person.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah, no. And yeah, I love that. Like, especially if you can, and I did that with one of my companies. I think we talked about this in one of my episodes where like the rep continued like to bother me and stuff. And like, I finally just was like, hey, I am actually leaving now. I literally walked him into one of the highest customers in his office and was like, here's my replacement. He's amazing. It was such a nice transition. You may not be able to do that, but even just setting up a call, giving them the new information. I mean, depending on the business, I think the business we're in, Cindy, it is very, very customer focused, very loyalty driven. It is really important to never leave them high and dry. Know that they have a clinical filling the position until the rep comes back in. You never want to leave customers high and dry. You just never want to do that no matter what you're selling. Doesn't matter if you're selling cars, if you're selling finance, or if you're selling medical devices. You never want to leave a customer high and dry because they're going to be like, oh, there goes that loyalty to that brand. And then you also don't want to just disappear. I mean, it's not like you just drop off the news and you're like, oh, I'll see you later. Bye bye now. I like telling my customers a couple weeks in advance if I'm allowed to, or a month in advance, give them plenty of notice, start to transition the responsibilities, all the information that you have on the account, the products that each customer uses, what's important. And actually, we could do a whole episode just on this. But these things are so important that you're doing it as a class act. You are not just, whoop, I'm out of here. Great. See you later. That's just not the way we work.
I love that. I love that. So I really hope this hit home for somebody, because if it's not today, it's going to be tomorrow. It's probably was yesterday. So to prepare for next time. And I think to sum up a few takeaways for today is think about that you're not, when you exit this company, okay, don't think about leaving a role, think about leaving a legacy. So how do you leave your footprint in a very good way, a very classy way? Because how you leave may define even more of the type of rep you are, because that's the lasting impression of you anyway. So when you're honest, thankful, you have some gratitude and professionalism, that door will truly never close. So that guilt that you feel, that fear, that it's gone. If you do it right, they'll be with you in a sense, and they may interact in your life again. I just hope that you remember those things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Honestly, like I will say I've made it part of my mission to never leave a company in a bad way. I've never left a company in a bad way. Not one company can say one negative thing about me, and neither can my physicians. And I think it's so important that you do that, because in this field, in this industry, it's so tightly knit. If you leave a bad footprint, legacy, just impression in general, that stuff will follow you, man. It may follow you. You may be calling on a whole new set of customers and you think you're in the clear, but then it turns out that customer group and this customer group just joined forces. And oh, guess what? Now they're neuro, cardiac, vascular, orthopedic, all under the same umbrella. And you now are back with the same guys again. So you have to be so careful, and why wouldn't you want to leave with a good legacy as a class act? Why would you just want to drop it and be like, I'm out of here? I mean, you never know, you just never know. I love today's episode. I think today's episode was super awesome. We have gotten a lot of calls and comments on this, and I'm so glad we talked about this. And we have a couple more episodes coming up that some of you guys have written into us about, which is really fun and awesome, by the way. So when you have an idea or a thought, or you're like, hey, I'm about to face this, or I am facing this, can you talk about it? Cindy and I love ideas. So we're open to anything. But this one truly came to us because somebody physically picked up the phone and said, hey, what do I do about this?
Yes.
So this was fun. I wish I had this, 20 years ago, Cindy. I really do, man. It would have really helped me.
I'm going to repeat the 5 steps when you're getting ready to deliver the news that you're leaving. Remember, number 1, prepare, don't panic. Number 2, leave with transparency. Number 3, show humanity, not guilt. Number 4, hardest one, give space for response. And number 5, end with direction and don't just drop off. So the call to action for all of you today, think about this conversation either you're putting off or you're getting ready to have this week. Use these 5 steps. They might be uncomfortable, but I truly believe you will walk out more grounded, more respected, and walk away more you with your legacy that we talked about. So send us a DM if this helped, because we'd love to hear your story. Send in a rating and review. It helps us know where to go for next time. So until then, signing off from the Girls of Grit in Secrets in Medical Device Sales. Have a great week selling, everybody.